Good day, everyone. This is Teacher Tess. Welcome to English Interview for Stewardesses. The questions this time are about scenario questions. What would you do? So this time, the interviewer will give you some situation and you're going to explain or you're going to give your reason on what would you do on that certain situation. The first question this time is about seat trouble. The question here is a passenger is sitting in the bulkhead seat and he doesn't want to watch the movie. What would you say? There are no empty seats available. Let's read the sample questions. I would inform the passenger that there are no extra seats available. Then, I would offer to give him an eye mask so that the movie would not bother him. I would also see if I could get him a newspaper or magazine to keep him occupied. Well, in this answer, she said that she's going to explain to the passenger that there is no seat available, and also she is going to offer an eye mask to cover the passenger's eye if the passengers want to sleep, and then she's going to give some newspaper and magazine too. Next answer here is I would tell him that there aren't any available seats. I could give him an eye mask. Maybe I could ask some passengers to change seat with him voluntarily. Well, student, what about you? What would you do in this kind of situation? Well, please copy the question here and the sample answers. Then try to answer this question using your own words. Now, let's move on to the next question. Now, our questions are about safety. So here, the interviewer is going to give you some situation again, and she's going to test on what would you do on that certain situation about safety. The question here is, what would you say to a passenger who asked to use the lavatory before takeoff? Again, what would you say to a passenger who asked to use the lavatory before takeoff? Well, when you say lavatory, this is the toilet, okay? So what are you going to do? Well, let's read the sample answers here. If the airplane is still being boarded, I would inform the passenger that it is fine. If the plane is in motion, then I would explain to him or her that it is not possible to use the lavatory until after we have taken off and the seatbelt sign has been turned off. Well, she said that if the plane is still being boarded, then it's okay for the passenger to go to the lavatory. But if it's in motion already, then she's going to tell the passenger to wait until the seatbelt sign turned off. Next here is, I am going to explain to him that it isn't allowed to go to the lavatory before takeoff. Maybe he can wait for several minutes until the seatbelt sign has been turned off. Well, student, what about you? What would you say to a passenger who asked to use the lavatory before takeoff? Well, please remember that safety first, okay? Now please copy the question and the sample answers. Then try to answer this question using your own words. Now let's move on to the next question. The next question here is, a passenger is trying to put a very heavy bag in the overhead bin. What would you do? Let's read the sample answers. I would inform the passenger that their bag is too heavy. and I would offer to put a bag in one of our storage compartments in front of the aircraft until we have landed. I would explain that it would be a safety risk to have the heavy bag in the overhead bin. Okay, when we say safety risk, it means it is not safety. Okay, it's very risky if you're going to put a very heavy bag, okay, on that overhead bin. Next answer here is I would inform the passenger that excessively heavy items or fragile articles shouldn't be kept in the overhead bin. I would explain that the aisles always have to be open for an unexpected emergency situation and for convenient passage. Well, student, what about you? I hope that you can manage this kind of situation. Now, please copy the question and the sample answers. Then please remember to try answering this question, okay? Well, this is all for today. Please remember that you don't need to memorize your answer. Just practice answering the question, and I know you will do good, okay? This is all for today, and I'll see you next time.